In this video I'm going to tell you the complete money making journey in PokeMMO. This is not an edited video like the one I did before. My idea with this series is to get your feedback from different parts of my talk, see where I went wrong, where I can improve, and then make separated, edited videos where I can storytell and emphasize my points better. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. I divided the video into beginner, intermediate, and advanced. This video is a build-up from how to start your money-making journey in the game to the point where you can decide if you are going to advanced methods where the concept of money-making being zero time becomes real, and which is needed for you to achieve the late game goals such as egg hunting and getting expensive vanities. I'm already working on the second episode where I go through the egg incubator drama and discuss the cost and the time of egging, so stay tuned for that. But for the players who are beginners in the game, I try to explain in the best way I possibly could how I view money making from the start of a journey, how to progress through it, and what I would have done differently if I was starting from scratch. That's just because I don't remember seeing a video that goes through the points I'm going through here, and I think there's something in here for everyone. But before I start the video, I wanted to say a few words. Please feel free to skip ahead, there are timestamps if you want to get to the main parts of the video. I just wanted to say thanks to all of you guys' comments and feedback on the last video. It has been amazing seeing the positive responses I got from the community and that the same creators whose content I consumed on YouTube enjoyed the video. It's so crazy to see that a script I made on a simple notepad document and the time and effort I put into editing turned into a video that has been so well received by the community. Content creation is something new to me, and editing in that specific video took me a lot of time. I work a full-time job, and in my free time I enjoy playing the game, but I'm also enjoying talking to you guys this way. And it turns out that I have a lot to say about this game. This type of content here is more of a second monitor style video that you can watch while doing some other stuff, but it somehow feels more personal. I'll keep making quote-unquote highly edited videos because, as I said before, I think they can be more entertaining than this type of content. So I really appreciate that if you like the video to actually like the video on YouTube, and if you disagree with me at some point or if you like me to add something, please write it in the comments. I am responding to every comment I'm getting. Right now the highly edited video I'm working on is a video about the math behind sniping, so subscribe if you want to see that. Also, you may have noticed that I changed the microphone and I would like your opinion if you think that the subtitles are needed or not. I'm keeping them for this one. And since I got some comments about sniping, I'm showing you here the gameplay of 1 hour of single hunting in Route 45, where I got 300 encounters and made about 2.4 million in expected profit. Now let's get to the video. I think the beginning for everyone who is starting at the game should be aiming to complete the regions. Of course, you get access to the GTL once you get your 4th badge in any region, and buying months that can help you progress through the story faster is very appealing, and if it helps you, you should definitely do so. But once you finish the regions, then money starts being a more important aspect for the game for you to progress through anything you like. The main objectives in my perspective that people go for in this game are shiny hunting and PvP, and that's where the money becomes vital. Other projects players may have are unique Pokemon collecting and buying expensive vanities, but shiny hunting and PvP I think that are the majority of players' objectives. For shiny hunting you need money to be more effective, to buy lures, lepas, and to egg hunt, and money in PvP is needed for breeding or buying mounts. So let's start talking money methods now. Feel free to disagree with me, but I consider any method that makes less than 200k PokeM per hour a beginner friendly method. And beginner methods, for the sake of this video's argumentation, should be used until you get enough EM to be able to afford the Pokemon that will help you get to 200k per hour consistently. It doesn't mean that once you find yourself not being a quote-unquote beginner anymore, you should disconsider these methods. You may find one that you enjoy doing, and if so, you should keep doing it as much as you like. I love ditto farming, for example, and I still do it from time to time. It's a good way to make money while hunting for the legendary dogs in Johto. The initial methods of money making that I think are really beginner friendly are item farming and catching mons. And just like a lot of players, I started my money grind on the Safari Zone catching magic herbs. This way I started to tip my toes a little bit into the GTL because I was price checking and selling magic herbs. The other method that is more brain dead than this one is payday farming with meows or munchlaxes. In my case, I used a payday meowth in the berry forest while hunting for the legendary birds in Kanto. I would also like to encourage you to take a look at Mr. Reboy's channel because he makes a fantastic job to showcase you the money making methods that are profitable and enjoyable. And to be honest, it's been a while since I've done most of these methods, but I look at them very fondly. As a player, I think this is one of the best parts of your journey. I suggest doing as many as you like because you start getting knowledge about the game, which can be very helpful later. If I had to choose one, I would encourage you to try to farm Remoraid's or Whalmers. That's because they hold a lot of value since they are an essential part in the breed up of the Gym Rerun Blastoise. For both of them, my advice is to level up a Mother's Nature Mon with the Synchronize ability and lead your party with it when attempting to catch Remoraid's and Whalmers. The best possible catch for you would be a Remoraid or a Whalmer with at least one of the following attributes, for a lack of a better word. Modest Nature, 31 IV in special attack or 31 IV in speed. For Remoraid, you should go to the Battle Frontier in Hoenn to fish, and you should catch every single female Remoraid. And for Whalmers, you should go to the fight area in Sinnoh, use an Expert Lure and fish. If you use the Expert Lure, the Whalmers and Whalelords that you'll find will already come up with the Water Spout move, which is the most used move in a Gym Rerun Blastoise. And with these ones, you will be looking to catch the male species. Any male Whalmer or Whalelord that knows the move Water Spout has a higher price in the GTL. One other way to profit from Whalmers is if you see there's a difference in price between the Whalmers with Water Spout and the ones without, you can buy the ones that don't have it from the GTL, level them up until they learn the move, and then sell them to make a profit. Again, I am not as much familiar with them as I once was, but I recommend taking your time, learning all types of strategies, getting creative, and enjoying this part of the game. It's really great. Now let's talk about intermediate. As I've said before, I consider an intermediate someone who has the money to advance from a beginner money making method to a money making method that makes consistently 200k Pokémon per hour. In most of the beginner methods, you will need to sell Pokemon or items in the GTL, so there's a waiting time there. Once you get the money, I would recommend you to either go for a cloister for trainer reruns or build your team to do gym reruns, which are the two most common ways to make consistently over 200k per hour. Since getting your cloister either via breeding or just buying from the GTL is cheaper than getting a gym rerun team, I would suggest going for a cloister first. That's because the cost of making or buying a gym rerun team is far bigger than the price of one cloister and a choice band, which is all you need to do the trainer reruns. And the profits are somewhat similar for the same hour you put in, if you are starting with the Double Typhlosion, Double Blastoise gym rerun team, which is the one I recommend you to begin with. Even if you love trainer rerunning and that's all you wanna do, I still think it's important to make a gym rerun team once you're able to do it, try it a few times, and if you don't like the grind, you can always sell your team on the GTL, because people are always buying this type of gym reruns mods. But gym rerunning itself can be a fun way to play the game. You can try to beat the amount of gyms you do each time, and there's even a competitive scene for it. I'm putting in the description a video from Xanarchy just so you know what can be possible to achieve. If you like gym runs and want to get more advanced, there are different gym run teams you can make. I once read a chat in Jinx Boom streams that said that choosing a gym run team is like choosing a religion. As I said, I think the best beginner gym run team is Pet's Double Typhlosion, Double Blastoise one, and if you like, you can upgrade after to 7 Hells, Prehistoric, 6 Pillars, and so on, and that's because the profit per hour is higher. But you should choose your religion wisely. Each of them have their pros and their cons, and you should put some thought into it. I started doing Patch 1 and I didn't upgrade for a very long time. I will also leave the link to this Pat's Jimmy Run team in the description, and around this time I would also start to EXP grind and EV train. There's always a market for buying, for example, the Cyndaquils and Squirtles that are bred for Jimmy runs, and training them up to their final product, which would be level 100 if you trained, and then sell them on the GTL for profit. This way you can make around 30 to 40k per month you EV train, and if you can EV train 4 months at a time, you can make close to 120 to 160k per hour. And I still enjoy it and consider it to be a fun process. While you EV train, you will also start to shiny hunt, because you'll be herding a lot. For each stat that you maximize on EVs, you will encounter at least 130 mons if you are herding correctly. If you are a beginner, I strongly recommend you to find EV training spots with Pokemon that you would like to have a shinies, because you'll train a lot there. My advice is, once you get a shiny from a spot, you switch spots. It's not very probable, but you can get 2 shinies really close together, and I would rather not have duplicates. There are really good guides to finding the best EV training spots, and I will link a forum post that helped me a lot, and that is still my go-to resource whenever I feel like EV training. By this point, I would recommend that you start working on completing the Pokédex, because it gives you access to Mount Silver, and that's where the best EXP grinding spot in the game is. Before getting access to Mount Silver, you can kill hordes of Tentacruels in the Battle Frontier to get experience. And if you already got a shiny Tentacruel, it would be nice to go for something new, like a Donphan or a Dodrill, which are the mons in Mount Silver. Now that you have Mount Silver unlocked, EXP training Pokemon can be very profitable. I also suggest that, if you have the money to spare, to buy an EXP reamplifier, and I know that at this point it could be a huge cost for you. I really postponed buying mine even when I had more than enough money to buy it, but in my opinion it may be one of the best items to improve quality of life in game, such as the Fly, Surf and Teleport ocarinas. It gets you more experience per herd, and it also enables you to give Everstones to Pokemon you are leveling up. In my opinion, the best ones to train are the ones desired for either catching or money making, and especially the ones that require only 100k experience to get to level 100. I usually leveled up Smeargles and Togakisses, but you can train Blastoises, Typhlosions, Breloons, and so many others. That's where your knowledge, for example, of the mons in all the gym rerun teams that you studied to get into your religion comes in handy. Other very common mons to level up to level 100 are Meowths and Munchlaxes, which are used for payday pickup. But I would only train them if you already have the XP Reamplifier and you can give them Everstones to hold while training, so they don't evolve and lose the pickup ability. The best way to make money while EXP grinding is to fill your party with the ones you are training and leave 2 at the Johto daycare, where they will get experience and level up passively. It's important to say that you should EV train them before you XP grind, and you can use the donator status and EXP charms to make the process even faster. Also, for each level each Pokemon gained in the daycare, they will charge you 1000 yen, so I recommend getting them up to around level 70 before you put them in the daycare. So by now you should have a Junior Run team, a Trainer's Rerun Cluster, the knowledge of how to EV train and EXP grind, and you'll be familiar with the best methods of catching mons and item hunting. I also think that now is a good time for you to start to learn Red Refights, Elite 4 reruns, and Ho-Oh rematching. These can be some of the best money per hour methods in the game, but Red and Ho-Oh can only be done once a week. In the description you'll find some of the best guides on the subject. For Red reruns there's the Lasagna guide, for Elite 4 reruns there's Nathan Fitz guide, and for the Ho-Oh weekly boss fight there's the Jinx Boom one. Apart from everything else, there's berry farming and especially Lepa farming. I'll link you the Jinx Boom Lepa farming guide in the description because that's the one I used when I got into it. I would also like to point out that depending on when you're watching this video, the game could have changed and these guides may not be as effective as they once were, but these are the go-to creators for this type of content. And if you haven't by now started to learn breeding for profit, you are well equipped knowing which months are desired in the market and for which reasons. All the knowledge you built up since the beginning of your money-making journey can be used now. When breeding for profit, my recommendation is to choose months that you know have demand for money-making methods in-game or that are highly desired in PvP, especially in the OU tier because that's what most players play. And one tip I have is if you're breeding to make profit for PvP, breed walls. Pokemon such as Skarmory, Chansey, Bronzong, Ferrothorn, and so on. That's because most people only breed attacking mons, and the competition for your breed will be a lot smaller and you might be able to sell them faster or even for more profit. You really don't need to breed a perfect 5 IV natured mon to make a profit. At this time, I bred once a day a Skarmory that had 31 IVs in HP, with 20 to 25 IVs in the other imported stats, and with a good defensive nature. I remember making somewhere close to 50 to 100k profit for each sale. And this is really just an example. You should really get creative with your strategies. Other tip is to learn which PvP mons have desired egg moves and breed them as female. They tend to take longer to sell, but it's a very simple process that many players overlook. And you can make profit simply by doing one easy breed. Some of the ones that come to my mind are Leech Seed on Pharaoh Seed, Pursuit on Larvitar, Mach Punch on Timber, and Head Smash on Archon. And this is the point where I would call you advanced. I'm sure that by now you have the whole game figured out, you know everything that you can learn about money making, and now is the time that I would really think if you want to go further or not. If I called the point before advanced, now I would call it cooked. This is the level of money making you should aim for if you're wanting to egg hunt, go for really expensive vanities, or even growing a unique Pokemon collection. Now is the point where the concept of money making being zero time becomes real. In my opinion, you have three ways to go for it. They are card swiping, sniping or flipping, and using multiple devices. The first one is card swiping and spending real life money to fund your goals in the game. You could swipe at any point before, but this is where it becomes really tempting. But first, let me talk about you. You have a job, and you have done the calculations and discovered that the hour you spend doing a gym rerun, you're making way less than minimum wage. So in order to achieve different pixel colored monsters in this video game, your best friends will become your shiny Visa and your Alpha Mastercard. And with them in your party, you can show all the other players that you are the very best, like no one ever was. The second one is sniping or flipping, and you will spend a lot of time refreshing the GTL to buy and sell mons to make a profit. It really isn't engaging gameplay, you're not playing Pokemon at all, but it's a dopamine loop so strong that if you enjoy it, you will need rehab in order to quit. You'll be fighting for profits against players who have godlike reflexes and zero ping. For all you know, you could be sniping against Simple and Zygo. In no time, you'll be in the dark, alone, in your room, shouting that the GTL is full of bots and there's no way someone could have sniped that before you. And when something new released insta-sells, you will reconsider all your life choices, because you could have made more profit. I love it and I think it's the best. The third one is to create as many auto accounts as humanly possible so you can do the same activities you already do, but now you are a true gamer. And you will be gym running on multiple accounts on multiple devices at the same time to multiply your profits per hour. But for that, you need to develop skills, new skills, like looking at your computer with one eye while simultaneously looking at your cell phone with the other. And you will discover that you lack basic fundamental coordination, and a simple task like running in two different directions in two different Pokemon games at the same time is a task beyond your capabilities. Your characters will finish their gym runs in the hospital because you have bumped into every single wall in existence. The amount of devices you own that can run the game becomes your limiting factor, and the sky is the limit. You will probably look at your dusty 10-year-old notebook or a cheap Android phone on Facebook Marketplace like it's the missing piece from your millennial puzzle. And you may even ask family members if they have a spare one because you have a quote-unquote project you need it for. I really don't know if you guys are enjoying this video, but at least I'm having fun doing it. This is the best Pokemon game that I have ever played and I couldn't recommend it enough. And this is the end game in terms of money making in PokeMMO. If you are a beginner, you should know that this is where you're headed and there's no escaping it. But the point that I would consider the holy grail of money making in this game is having something like 1 billion and investing it. This is the best way to multiply your already humongous net worth without doing much work at all. And if you find a good investment strategy, then you can have as much yen as you'd like, but you need a big initial net worth to begin with. Now getting back to the serious point. What does it mean that money becomes zero time? Of course I heard it from Pat first and I would like to explain it better in my own words. It simply means that you can do the activity you want, you're playing the game in the way you want it, like shiny hunting, while you are making money in the game at the same time. If you card swipe, you'll be making money while you work at your real life job. If you snipe or flip, you can do it while you are doing something else in the game, like I'm doing in this video. If you multi-device, you can be shiny hunting on your computer and doing gym runs on your 10 cell phones at the same time. I don't know if you guys consider it to be zero time, but I'll put investments here. As I've said before, you can invest in this game. You spend your hard-earned yen in sealed product in the event season, which are this game's loot boxes, wait for them to rise in price, and then you can sell them later and go home with the profits. The sealed products can be mysterious balls, pumpkin bags, pumpkin goodie bags, red envelopes, and lucky red envelopes. Each year there are events in game for Halloween, Christmas, and Lunar New Year, because we have a big Chinese community. And each of these events have their own loot boxes with their own exclusive vanities. And if an exclusive vanity becomes expensive because it looks cool, the loot box price will rise, simply because people will try to open them to get the vanity. So investing could be considered zero time as well, but I'd like to hear your opinion on it, because in order to invest, you need money, and usually you spend time to make that money. And I don't think I have found a consensus if investing is zero time or not. And that's all I wanted to say to you guys. I hope you enjoyed it and I would really appreciate your feedback. I think there's an edited video to be made for each part, and once I have more to say about the money becoming zero time, I think there's also a video that should be done about it. And again, thanks for every view, every like, every comment, every subscription. It really means a lot to me.